Thank you. Thank you. Good to see you all this evening. I don't need the microphone. It's kind of loud, isn't it? Yes? I'm going to put a picture up here. This is my mom and dad. The name of my talk is Factory Worker's Daughter. And my dad was a factory worker. Whoops, sorry. I am like Marcy. I talk too much. So what I do to control it is I have these little notes, and I just stick to them. So let me start over again. My name of my talk is Factory Worker's Daughter, and I was born in Cleveland, Ohio, to John and Mary Speranga. And there they are. Dad was 5'9", Mom was 5'2". And she's standing on 3 stairs there. Oh, for those of you who can't see, let me just show you. Aren't they a great looking couple? Daddy had a David Niven mustache. I said that in my office today, and the girls in my office went, David Niven, who's that? I went, never mind. So I was born into a European family, and Mom was Hungarian, Dad was Czechoslovakian, and I was thrust into a traditional role for females. So Mom taught me how to cook and iron and do all those great things. And I got married at 19, and didn't work out, you know. I was not part of, I did everything my mom did, okay, everything she taught me to do, except being the age that I was, I also had a job. So I had a job and I did everything that she did. And then I had a husband who was 19 and was really looking for a mom. So I got divorced very early on, which was very difficult because we were Catholic, and I got excommunicated, and I couldn't see how at 19, if I had chosen wrong, why I had to continue to do that. So. And then I really didn't know what to do because I didn't have a college education, and I really had kind of a mindset of being a mom and a homemaker. So I was kind of like a ship without a rudder, you know, and I didn't know what to do, and I thought, well, what I need to do is get out of Dodge. And my mother was a little reluctant to have me move away from Cleveland, Ohio, but this is her here, and this is another thing that made the girls in my office go. When I said my mother was a Rosie the Riveter. Now everybody here knows what that is, right? Well, these girls were clueless, let me tell you. So she worked for Thompson Aircraft Products, and she really did rivet the plane wings. You did too? All right. Okay, so that's okay. The woman that's standing here today is because of my mother. Because she, as soon as the war was over, left the war plant and came back into the house with my dad. And that's where she stayed. She didn't drive. You know, she was very supportive of my dad and just was a wonderful homemaker. So here I was, you know, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Just kind of going from job to job and not really doing anything, but just knowing that I needed to do something. So when I told my mom that I wanted to leave Cleveland, she said, I never thought my woman child would be the one that would be leaving, because I had one brother who was 3 years younger than me. So I went off to California. I drove across country by myself, and got myself a little apartment and went to LA, and things got worse than they were in Cleveland. And what I realized was that it wasn't Cleveland or those people over there or my family. It was me. I took me with me to California. So the reason it got worse is because I had no support system. So, you know, you don't realize how much support you get from your friends and your family until there's no one around like that. So I was pretty devastated. And I took a course at UCLA in metaphysics. And metaphysics is a study of the mind and how the mind works and functions and everything, and how we interact with people and emotions and things like that. And what it taught me was better thinking, better life. And I went, So I really started getting into that thought process, and they brought speakers in to talk to us, and I was very motivated by it. And I thought, you know, just because I don't have a college education, just because I got C's and D's in high school, just because I wasn't the best daughter, I was always very mouthy all the time, just because I was raised to be a housewife and I didn't want to do that, didn't mean I couldn't be successful as a businesswoman. And even saying that in the very beginning was like this little voice in my head said, "You gotta be kidding me. You, a businesswoman?" But what I found out was that 3 years later, I won't go into all the details of it, but what happened was I wrote down from that course, I wrote down my goals and what my life looked like 5 years from now. And I was amazed at what happened, because within 3 years, I had gone through a couple of jobs and ended up being a financial planner. I had a very good manager, supported me, and I went through all the courses and got all the licenses and became a stockbroker. And in 3 years, I was salesperson of the year nationwide for this firm. And I bought my own home in West Hollywood, and then I got promoted to management. I was a manager for 3 years, top in the country, all 3 years. And this is all because of my thinking. All because of my thinking. And what I learned was that if you have an idea, you can do it. Because there's an old philosopher in like 2000 BC, and I can't remember his name, but he said, the creature cannot conceive of an idea it cannot achieve. So if you've got the idea, you've got the wherewithal to get it done. You don't have to worry about how you're going to get it done. You just got to believe in yourself. I'm a living example of it. So I asked to be a vice president. I went to my president and my CEO. I was the top manager. They said, got to have a college degree to be a vice president. Okay. Well, I think it's more important that I have the skills. Well, one of the skills is you have to have gone to college. And I said, well, you know, that's not going to deter me. So I went back about 3 months later and did it again. This was 1987. They said, no, sorry. And every time I made my presentation a little bit better, a little bit bigger, and went the third time, nope, sorry. And I didn't give up. And on my 40th birthday, a friend of mine gave me a picture that he had painted for me. It was me and my cats. And it was in this really wild backyard, which wasn't my backyard. And when I looked at it, I said, this is me in my new backyard. And I had no idea what that was going to be, but 3 weeks later, I got called into the president's office, and he said, do you still want to be a vice president? And I go, sure do. And he said, well, you've got to, it's Texas. You got to let me know in 24 hours, and you've got to be gone in 2 weeks. I said, okay, I'll take the job. He goes, don't you want to think about it? I said, excuse me, have I not been in here 3 times in the last 9 months? Of course I don't need to think about it. He goes, it's Texas. I said, I don't care where it is. I wanted to be a vice president. I wanted to learn on their dime. That is one of the most wonderful things about growing up in a corporation, is that they teach you and they pay you at the same time. So I got to be a vice president, and I won't go through all the details, but I have to tell you this one thing. The CEO was kind of on the macho side. And my president was much more amenable to, by the way, there was only one other female vice president. Might I have a cup of water, please? One of the other women was the vice president, so I was the second one. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. And I sent out a memo to everybody, to my president, my immediate boss, who was a vice president, and Jack, who was the CEO. And I said, if you were in my shoes, what are the 3 things that you would do first? Well, my president sent me a memo and said that what he would do, and the VP called me up and said, these are the 3 things. And Jack puts his knee up on the desk and says, Christina, you make me think I hired the wrong person for the job. If you don't know what to do, then you shouldn't be in the job. And I said, Jack, I won't tell you what I told him. But I found that that is the best way to succeed. Ask a whole bunch of people, what would you do? What would you do? What would you do? If you were me, what would you do? And you get everybody's opinion, and then you look at it your own way, and then you decide for yourself what you want to do. But you always want to get opinions. You know, I'm a financial planner. I'm an integrated financial planner. So I look at the whole picture, and I always tell my clients, this is not my life or my money. All I'm going to do here is give you information, and then you can decide what you think is best to do. And I'll tell you, if you do this, this is what might happen. If you do this, this is what might happen. And then you can choose from there. So whenever you're going to do an endeavor, you always want to go around, ask a lot of people, a lot of things. So I got promoted, moved out here to Texas, and my president was right. Oh my God, what a difference. I mean, it was culture shock enough going to California, but when you go to California, you got palm trees, ocean, and mountains, right? Come here to Texas, you get dust and mesquite trees. And then I learned to say, y'all come back now, you hear? Or then I heard this one guy say, I felt lower than a snake's belly in a wheel rut. And I, okay. And then I love this phrase, I might could. Now what does that mean? I might could, or I'm fixing to. But you know what? Over the years, I have learned to love Texas. I mean, Texas just gets into your blood, and you just want to be born in the wool Texan. But I wasn't. I was born in Cleveland, Ohio. Well, shortly after I moved here, the company was sold to MetLife. And I had plans when I came out here that I was going to be a VP for them for 5 years, and I was going to start my own firm. Well, when the company was sold, I did not want to work for MetLife. I didn't feel that they had the closeness with their clients. They were a big machine, you know, a money gatherer. So I started my own firm. And I went to take a course to help myself get acclimated from running around the country in my job to being in the study at my house. And guess who I met there? Mr. Gears. I call him the Herbster. He is, as I'm sure most of you know if you've ever met him, a wonderful man. And we went, he came into the business with me, and we worked for 3 years together, and then he said, honey, I think what I would like to do is something different. And then you know what he finally ended up doing. So he is a phenomenal collaborator, and the reason I married him, because I was 44 when we got married, and he's 15 years younger than I am. He's 29. And I had no reason to be married, none whatsoever. I had no, for what? I always thought, well, for what? But you know, Herbert listened to me. He was the first man that actually started asking me questions about the things that I was saying and started debating with me. And I thought, that's really an interesting thing. That wasn't my experience with most men that I came in contact with, although I didn't have very much opportunity because I was so busy. I really worked a lot, and I still do. I love what I do. I'm on fire every day. On fire every day. I wake up and I'm excited to meet the clients that I'm going to see. Most of them have been my clients for 15, 20 years, and then I have new clients, referrals. I get to meet new people and enjoy their lives. So, one of the things that I want to leave you with here today is that no matter who you are, what happened before, or what happened just today, has nothing to do with the next moment of your life, or the next week of your life, or the next years of your life. And have a plan. And be excited about your plan. Try something new. And, you know, my plans, and please don't think that, you know, I'm a little dizzy here, but I have plans till after I'm 115. I figured if I don't live, oh well, and if I do, I got a plan. So that I won't, because I have clients tell me, boy, if I would have known that I was going to live this long, I would have saved more money and taken better care of my health. So that's what I want to leave with you today, is love yourself, love your community, and love our country, and always have a plan. Thank you very much.